Hello everybody, Dylan here from DHT Games, Comics, Theories, and more. Today we are going to be doing a top 10 list, and today's top 10 list is going to be top 10 canceled Sonic games. Now I know you guys are going to love this list, so stay tuned today on DHT. Number 10 is Sonic's Edusoft. Now, Sonic's Edusoft was going to be an educational game for the Sega Master System, and it was developed by Tiertex. Now, this game is fully completed. It's just that at the last second, Sega decided not to publish it, probably because the Sega Master System was already dead, and the Genesis was more popular. And maybe they didn't think that an educational game would sell well. As you can see, the game is playable, and if you want to, I'm gonna leave a link down below where you can get the ROM for this, and some people even printed off their own homebrew cartridges for this game. So yeah, Sonic's Edusoft, would it have done good? Probably not, but it is a game that you can play still. Now, number 9 is Sonic DS. Sonic DS was a 2004 E3 demo, showed off to everybody, and it just looked like a standard 3D Sonic game, and it looked pretty impressive for what the DS could do, and that was the whole point of it. It was just a demo. Some people started judging the demo and said that it looked too basic, but what do you expect? It's a demo. But yeah, elements of this demo would be worked into Sonic Rush, so this game is kind of released. Now, coming in at number 8 is Sonic Sports. Sonic Sports was a game said to be worked on for the 32X in 1995, and Sega claimed that it was going to be similar to Acme All-Stars, and it was going to be using Sega characters instead. The characters included was Sonic, Tails, and Rystar. Now, the games that were said to be on it was basketball, volleyball, and soccer. Would this game have done good? Because the Sega 32X was iffy, and Sega really hadn't done this before, I would say probably not. It would be looked back on like Mega Man Soccer. I don't think this game would have done well. But it would have been good to have another game with Rystar in it, seeing how Sega doesn't want to use him and everyone else has no idea who Rystar is anymore. Number 7 on our list is Sonic Ride. Now, Sonic Ride is 3D footage created by Sega of Sonic running level to level in 1994. Now, this is believed to be used for some Sega Sonic Ride that was planned to be made, but the footage went unused until it was included in Sonic Jam as part of the promotional single, They Call Me Sonic. And what do I think of it? Well, for being 1994, the 3D modeling looked decent, and that part at the end where Robotnik gets squished to death was pretty funny. I would have liked to have seen this ride if it ever came out, but at least Sega released the footage, so we can see it now. Number 6 is Sonic Crackers. Now, Sonic Crackers is a demo for Knuckles Chaotix, back when it was just being called Project Chaotix, and it features Sonic and Tails running around level to level. Now, what makes this one unique is though it's incomplete, you can actually get the ROM and play through it, and I advise you to because it's pretty fun just to see what the concept of Chaotix was going to be before Sonic and Tails were scrapped and replaced with Knuckles and other people. So yeah, I'm going to be leaving the ROM down below. Remember that this is just a beta and it's incredibly buggy and it doesn't work properly, but I advise you to check it out if you're a fan of Sonic and like Knuckles Chaotix. And what do I think of this? Well, it looks nice, and I would have really liked to have been able to play as Sonic and Tails in Knuckles Chaotix, or maybe we could just go back to calling it Chaotix. Then maybe some people would actually remember it, and Sega would actually re-release it. Next up on our list is one of my favorite unreleased Sonic games, and Sega Sonic Popcorn Shop. Now, this was a 1993 vending machine game, which was where you fight Dr. Eggman to make popcorn. So yeah, this game has actually been dumped, and if I can find the ROM, then I'll put it in the description. But in this game, you would be helping Sonic and Tails make popcorn by spinning this little wheel, and the flavors of popcorn would include salted, butter, or curry. I would have really liked to have seen this released, and if there is a version of this game, like an actual cabinet, I would love to own this. There's a little microwave inside, and when you win the game, because of course you can't lose the game, no matter what you're getting your popcorn, you get popcorn, so that's really cool, and I would rather make my popcorn some convoluted way rather than just putting it in the microwave like everyone else. Number 4 on our list is Sonic the Hedgehog Extreme. Now, this is the racing game involving skateboarding, so like Sonic meets Tony Hawk, not the other Sonic Extreme, which will come later on the list. Now this game was found in an Xbox developer kit, and it was gonna be a game where you play as either Sonic and Shadow, and you're skating around this generic theme park, and you can do combos, and it looked really interesting. I would have liked to have seen this. Now, just like with one of the earlier entries, people saw this test footage and just started criticizing it, acting like this was gonna be a legitimate game. This was just footage shown to Sega. It was not a game that was being worked on by Sega. It was being worked on by totally different people. People need to quit judging this stuff. It's just a prototype. Now, some people say that this footage was to be worked into Sonic Riders later, and as you can see, some of the stuff does match up, like Sonic riding on a skateboard-like thing, but Sonic Riders goes for a more straightforward approach where you're racing forward. Meanwhile, Sonic Extreme, or Sonic the Hedgehog Extreme, was more based on Tony Hawk, where there's just like a big hub world where you skate around in. So I think there's enough differences between the two to where I can say that Sonic Riders isn't a direct rip-off of Sonic the Hedgehog Extreme, but you can see some of the influences in the two. Next on our list is Sega Sonic Bros. Now, I already did a theory involving this game. If you haven't watched it, go watch it right now because it's awesome. Now, this game was a arcade puzzle game, and it would work just like Tetris or any other puzzle game that you know. You line up the colors, you match up the colors, and then they disappear. In this game, you'd be playing as Sonic or his yellow brother or red brother. Now, we don't know a lot about this game because Sega never showed off footage, but recently we have found screenshots of what the game would look like. The art style is unique and colorful, and it all looks hand-drawn, and it looks really nice. It has a Japanese feel to it, because it would have been a Japanese game. I would really love if Sega would like release the ROM to this game so we could all play it, because it looks like a very interesting puzzle game, and it's a shame that it never came out. Now, next up on our list is Sonic 16, or the Sonic SatAM game. This was a demo made shortly after Sonic Spinball, and it was going to be released on the Sega Genesis if it was ever worked on. The footage was shown to Yuji Naka, and he gave it 2 thumbs down, and it was cancelled right on the spot. This game was going to be a more slower game compared to the previous games, and Sonic was going to be focusing more on stealth. He could turn his back against the walls, he could climb up on ledges. The attacks plan for this game was going to be the standard hopping on enemies like you could in any other Sonic game. The new ones was going to be the ring toss, where you throw your rings you've been collecting at enemies to kill them, the spike blast, where you shoot out the needles on your back in all directions to kill enemies, and finally the saw blade. And the saw blade would cut through obstacles so you could forward progress in the game. These attacks are very unique, and I would love to see some of them worked into other Sonic games. The saw blade one was going to be worked in the Sonic Extreme, and you'll see that when it's mentioned in the next one, our number 1. Now, what do I think of this game? Because we don't have any playable ROM, I can't really make a full conclusion on what I think of it, but from what's shown off, it looks really unique and different than most Sonic games. The fact that you're focusing on hiding and sneaking around is really interesting, and the fact that it would have Sonic SatAM characters makes me want to play this game more, because that was my favorite Sonic cartoon growing up. So yeah, this game had a lot of unique ideas, and it's really sad that it didn't get into development at all. And finally, number 1, because I already spoiled it, Sonic Extreme, spelt differently than the one earlier. This one was supposed to be Sonic's first jump into 3D for the Sega Saturn. Unfortunately, this game went through development hell, and it was cancelled. The team was cut in half several different times, they couldn't get it working properly, frame rates were crap. This game had a lot of potential though, and had a very interesting storyline where you were having to save a Princess Bobowski. I already brought her up in one of my other videos, like top 10 forgotten Sonic characters, so you can go check that out. But yeah, this game had a lot of potential. You would be running around in a weird 3D like environment, and it was shown through like a fisheye lens, and it was very unique looking. Now, would I think this game has saved the Sega Saturn? No, nothing could save the Sega Saturn. It was just poorly marketed, and no matter what, that system would have died. But having a good Sonic game for the Saturn could have really helped out, and this game could have been that. Unfortunately, Sega doesn't know how to manage themselves, and just like plenty of other Sonic games, this Sonic game just went into failure and obscurity. Because of this game not being released, Sega had to re-release Sonic 3D Blast with a slightly better look to it, and they had to rename the upcoming Christmas special and Extremely Sonic Christmas to Sonic Christmas Blast. Now, am I disappointed about this game not being released? Yeah, it looked promising, but in the end, if Sega would have been forced to rush development, it probably would have ended up just like another Sonic 06. And I'd rather have no Sonic game than an extremely bad one for the Sega Saturn, like Sonic R. And that was top 10 canceled Sonic games. If you guys liked this video, then go check out Sonic Retro. It's where I got a lot of the information from to make this list, because they always find the most obscure things about Sonic the Hedgehog and catalog it. So if you just want to find out some obscure information about Sonic or just standard information, go check out Sonic Retro. So yeah, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did like it, you can always like it. If you really liked it, you can share. And if you really love this and want to see more videos like this, then you can subscribe. Subscribing majorly helps out. And finally, just adding this on at the end, I have a Patreon. I promote it before my latest video. So yeah, if you guys want to donate money, you can. It's not forced. It's just something that would be nice if you did. It helps me keep the internet on, and it helps me keep the channel running well. So yeah, if you guys want to donate money, my Patreon is up there in my channel thing, and it's in the description. So yeah, thank you guys for all the support. I love each and every one of you guys. Bye.